and welcome to Queerly Biz. We are on episode 9 today. My name's Kerry King. I work for Rainbow Assured, and today we have
Gemma.
Gemma. Do you have a surname, Gemma?
Slater.
Slater, there we go. Gemma Slater. And your company is called?
It's Pink Couture.
Pink Couture. Awesome name. Now then, I understand, because we know a little bit about each other, but not loads.
Yep.
We work with a similar person. My business mentor, coach kind of bloke, Michael. We know Michael.
We love Michael.
We do love Michael. So tell me, first of all, how your business... tell me what you do, and then tell me how your business relates to the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a bridal seamstress, but I also do couture, bridal wear, any type of dressmaking. It's been a bit of a journey, really, because back in 2004, when it was civil partnerships first got legalised, I saw a little bit of a niche there. And I thought, just didn't want to have the stereotypical same-sex wedding.
So were you already a seamstress, bridal seamstress at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was, yeah. So I think I was doing it for about sort of 12, 13 years at that point.
Oh, gosh, so it's still quite a long time. Okay.
Yeah, I'm quite old.
You don't look old enough.
Well, I've been doing it 19, I started 47, 28 years.
Gosh.
I know.
Wow.
It's scary, isn't it?
Yes, terrifying.
And it just... I used to hang down like the loft quite a bit and a few of the old haunts and that. So what was the pub down bottom of Ketts Hill?
The Castle.
The Castle, that's it, yeah. And and I just love the community and stuff. And I did think actually it'd be quite nice to see women still look feminine if they want to be, and just give them the option that you could wear complementary garments to,
I've gone for lesbian plaid today.
Yeah, rather than just being the stereotypical, let's just wear a man's suit.
Sure.
And so I wanted to give a bit of a twist on that. So using my experience of styling, that sort of thing. So that's how we started.
So up until that point, I suppose you wouldn't have had gay couples come through because it wasn't a thing, really.
No, it wasn't. Have
you seen an increase since the legalisation of
definitely
same-sex marriage?
Yeah. I think it went really quiet before COVID. And then since COVID, I've really noticed a bit of a boom, actually. But getting a more of a different type of clientele as well now, being, men that have now transitioned to become women, who've obviously gone through the operation, the whole process and stuff. Have actually been brave enough to go into the bridal shops, to then contact me, to then go, can you help? Yes, absolutely. And just to give that feeling that, when I work with a client, it is actually, you pick up on a lot of things about their insecurities and stuff. So I think with me working with brides all the time, it was just easy for me to still talk to people, who are the transgender clientele. It doesn't make any difference to me.
I imagine that must be incredibly difficult for them going into what is traditionally a very female space, and feeling like they belong and that they fit, and for you to be able to provide a real safe space, which is why you became involved with Rainbow Assured. I know that you were already a safe space, but we wanted to kind of give you that stamp to say, this is kind of a worldwide way for us to say this is what you're doing, and you're doing it to a really high standard, and we obviously think you're awesome. Now tell me more about you mentioned to me when we spoke the other day about something about denim wedding dresses, and my brain went, I love this, I don't know what it is, help. Tell me more about that kind of side of something totally different.
I think what it is at the time, I'm quite a quirky sort of person,
yet you're all wearing black.
I'm wearing all black. I'm the bride of death today by the looks of it. But no, it's only because I couldn't be asked to iron anything before I came out.
Fair enough.
My washing pile's massive. It was just when I started doing the pink weddings circuit, when I was working with the actual team that were marketing, the newly passed civil partnerships and stuff, I went around the UK and we did some fashion shows, and I had stands up. I was on Sky TV, Wedding Channel as well. We went to like Canary Wharf, went all over the place, Brighton.
Cool.
Yeah, bumped into Gok that day. That was interesting.
I want to meet Gok.
Yeah, and it was just a good point for me to showcase what I can do. But I think it was a little bit too out there at the time, whereas now it seems normal to have a graffiti wedding dress. and to have a denim. So the denim wedding dress I made was a Victorian traditional style with the bustle and a lot of the draping and stuff, and fully boned corsets because I love historical costume. So it's just using those influences in Gemma's way. And it definitely got me noticed. But at the time, people weren't particularly brave enough to do it, whereas now everyone has a themed wedding. You know, last year I had like 4 Harry Potter weddings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you have other ones like Day of the Dead, or you have like loads of different themes. So it's been really exciting.
We had a rainbow wedding.
Yeah, you had a rainbow wedding. Yeah, and it's just nice to sort of listen to their stories of how they're planning their weddings and giving them some ideas. Well, actually, you could have maybe put a skull there if you like, or and just sort of giving them the option that they can have what they want. Really, I'm not very restrictive.
And we mentioned the other day when we chatted that the relevancy of like the pink pound. So for anyone who's not familiar with that, the pink pound is the spending power of the LGBTQ plus community within the economy, and obviously around the time that people were starting to have same-sex civil ceremonies, and now to same-sex marriages and trans and non-binary, and the pink pound has exploded, I think, beyond what most economists would have ever thought, and is almost become a trend of a word, the pink pound. It's something that we look at a lot in Rainbow Assured to try and ensure that the people who are spending the money, who have got this kind of hard-earned money, given the cost of living crisis and everything, that it's that much harder to come by, that they get to spend it with businesses who actually align with their principles and aren't a dick to them for the other 11 months of the year.
Yeah.
And don't just kind of pretend to care about them during June and rainbow wash and then forget about them the rest of the time. And obviously with Pink Couture, am I right in thinking the name came from...
Well, it sort of grew into that. It was funny because when the recession hit, I think it's 2008, obviously I don't know if I should say it, but I had to end up going bankrupt because nobody was buying anymore, and all of I think about 70% of all my clients pulled out. So you were waiting for the other 50% deposits and stuff, and it literally just meant that I just couldn't keep it going.
No, sure.
Which is a real shame. But it's fine because I learned a lot from it. And I sort of came to the conclusion, well, actually, work doesn't just land on your doorstep. You actually have to market your business and everything else. So I then met my husband, and then we moved down south, and I just had a bit of time away and just sort of have a bit of a rethink. And then one day I just went, I'm going to start again. And I said, I think I'm going to call it pink this time because I love pink anyway, even though you wouldn't think so.
You can't tell.
But do you know what? I can't actually wear pink. I look awful in it. So, it was just to sort of show that it could be quite girly if we wanted to attract that type of clientele, but also if people are clever enough to realise it could actually be aimed for, the pink community
as well. Yeah.
As well. So, just to make it more all-inclusive of any type of clients, really. So,
is there one thing specifically that you are proud of over and above everything else that you've achieved with your business?
I think
husbands and kids don't count.
I was going to say, no, after the kids. No, it's. I think I hit a real wall last year, which is when I then got in touch with Michael. I just needed to try and, now I'm sort of coming towards my 50s. I'm thinking, God, I'm always stressed. I'm always this. I'm never happy. But to a client, I'm happy because I love my job. But behind closed doors and the door shuts, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I'm not getting that feeling that I used to have. And I think last year, 24, I thought I'm going to really work on myself. So I have hit some really good milestones for myself, but also learned a lot about controlling certain things or accepting things you can't control. And my business grew over 200% in 8 months.
Wowzers.
Compared to the year before. I then got a finalist for the Wedding Industry Awards for Seamstress of the Year. So that was and I never would have thought I could have actually put myself forward for it. And then my client's going, I've just nominated you was like, oh, okay. And I thought, I'm going to do it. And at that point, I thought, actually, I've worked really hard to get to this point, to juggle everything, but also to just feel that feeling of myself, that I'm happy again and that I'm, you know, testing myself, should I say. Because when you've been a mum, you know, my boys are now growing up, so they don't need me so much anymore. So then you sort of lost a little bit and you think, oh, I don't really know which direction I want to go. So I thought I'm going to really give the business a good, see whether it's viable, and then now learn how to cope with the demand.
So I think we've learned that it is viable.
It is very viable, yeah.
Definitely.
And I think being coached to realise that and actually be proud of myself.
I think we will just give Michael a shout out.
We will give Michael a shout out.
He's not only how we met, but he's fantastic, and he's been brilliant for both of us, hasn't he? So his name's Michael Vincent, and he runs a business called Strategic Goal Management. And I mean, I sort of refer to him as my business mentor. I think he's a business coach. Is sort of his official title. But he knows his stuff,
and I think he's very, very clever of without sounding condescending or anything, is he? He can pull it out of you, little nuggets.
Yes.
And it gives you that sort of food for thought. Think, oh, maybe I can do that.
This is one of the things I think I found so useful with Michael, is because he recognises, actually in a similar way to you, Cal, he recognises the bits of me that I don't necessarily recognise are really good.
Yeah.
And he'll go, yes, but you can do this, which is actually exactly the conversation we just had in the cafe. Yes, but, you know, other people can do this, yes, but you can do this.
Yeah.
And this is your niche, and this is your speciality.
Well, the fact that when I started to send him over all of my portfolio work, because we were trying to sort of categorise it for the website and things, and I went, yeah, they're the ones that I've made. He went, really? I didn't realise that. He went, oh, my God. And then from that point, he's going, you're bloody good, Jen. And I'm like, oh,
I didn't imagine him saying that.
He goes, you are absolutely awesome. And the more and more he kept telling me, I was like, my head falling off my shoulders. I was a bit like, maybe I should believe in myself a bit more. And he's really brought that in to me thinking that. And I think ever since that, I've been given off a different vibe, because I've attracted some really cool people from last year of just feeling a lot more open and happier that I have achieved it. But I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and it's.
Well, I think we've actually only physically run into each other like twice.
Yeah,
it was the first time we met at Michael's, and then actually at Michael's Christmas party,
again,
and then now. But even from the first time I met you, I just think you just seem to exude this kind of air of confidence. Now, I don't know if you feel it, but you...
So, yeah, but I am the most confident person you'll ever meet, if that makes sense. Honestly, I am like a little shell of a person. But when I think I just love being around people. I think it's always, even when I was little, I always used to talk to people. And bringing up my three boys, I've always met, well, you met them, didn't you?
Yes.
And I've always made sure that they've got good communication, good social skills, can talk to anybody.
They're nice kids.
And
I don't like kids, but
I mean,
how many
14-year-olds do you know that go, you know, we'll call you sir or madam, or, you know, or how was your day, or, you know, and just learning that sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's really quite a powerful thing for me, because I've met, like I said last year, I've met some really cool people that I can tap into because we've just connected. And so, you know, if you don't have that confidence to talk to people, but then you're like me, we just chat.
Yeah.
Just random stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have recently had to kind of learn to accept that I am quite possibly the person version of Marmite.
Right, you know, yeah. We're not everyone's cup of tea. I know.
I hate it.
Yeah.
But I think I get on with more people than I don't get on with.
Yeah.
I just perhaps, there's only so many people that want to spend more time with me, and then there's people like Cal who are forced to spend more time with me.
I think also as well what I have learned over the years is like you become like a social chameleon in a way.
Yeah.
Because I have to adapt my personality to every client that I have. So within that first 2 or 3 minutes of meeting someone, I've got to quickly sum up how am I going to be with that client. You know, so if they start
working quite personally with them,
I mean, obviously they're getting their clothes off in front of you, or they, you know, they've all had a story about their insecurities or their body confidence, or sometimes some people have been shaking, they won't even come through the door.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, even I'm guessing the type of relationships they've had that have led them to be in that position where they're now going to be wanting a dress, you know, for you guys to sort for them. The different types of relationship that have potentially led them to be there in the first place is massive.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't have an awful lot of confidence in our kind of previous relationship history. And then you find yourself in this one relationship that you think is magic and is going to be forever.
And I think sometimes, you know, you have to appreciate some people can feel quite vulnerable. You know, so we end up becoming a confidant, a counsellor, a body coach, a friend. You know, you've got to like fit so many hats in that 1 hour that you get with that client. And then by the end of it, you know, you get a nice big hug, or I get some flowers, or I get chocolates, I get cards, you know, and it's been lovely. And some people every other year still send me a card, go, you know, on their anniversary of their wedding. So, you know, I think that's quite a nice job to have, really.
Yeah, that's lovely.
You can make a difference for people.
That is lovely. And when you do your weddings, do you have a lot of people who have different colour wedding dresses, or do you?
Yeah. I think more so now. If anyone says sage green again, I'll probably will strangle them. Because when I'm doing the fittings, I always ask the questions, you know, like, oh, what theme have you got? You know, what colour your bridesmaids and that sort of thing. And if I look up and then go, you know what I'm going to say? I'm like, sage green. And they're like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the themed ones are really cool. A lot of them going for the rainbow Converse.
Yes.
LGBTQ ones. So yeah, but some of them don't like openly want to show, oh, we're gay, you know, and everything's about all of this. So they have little subtle hints, which I think is a really nice touch.
Ours was less subtle, more.
Well, you had a rainbow
slap you around the face with a wet kipper. Yes.
Yeah.
A rainbow wet kipper, but yes.
Yeah. And I think sometimes they're also quite respectful of other people at the wedding, like family members who might find that to be a bit out of their comfort zone.
We don't really care about anybody else. We're
no, this is it. Or you just go all guns blazing and
we definitely went all guns blazing.
Yeah.
It was just a rainbow cacophony of loveliness.
Well, it's a celebration, isn't it?
It
for
is.
the day.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people, you know, I personally never wanted to get married because being in the industry, I see it from all sides of it.
You do.
And I think people have lost that actual what a wedding and a marriage is. It's a lifetime commitment to a person, whereas most people think, oh, if I don't like it, just get divorced and I'll get another dress. And they can, that's their attitude, some of them. You just think, God, no, you know, it takes work.
It does.
At the end of the day, so.
How does it feel to you when you get to make a member of the queer community feel beautiful in a way that they maybe haven't?
I have tears. I get goosebumps. There was this
and you still get tears and goosebumps?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. I think there was one, obviously I can't say names, but there was this this one couple and obviously she had gone through the hormone treatments and everything else. And she said, oh, can I bring my mum with me for my collection? I went, yeah, of course. And her mum, I mean, we both just looked at each other and she was crying and I went, oh, and I started getting a bit emotional. And just to see her twirling in my studio in her dress and just feeling feminine. And her mum just said, I just want to say thank you so much. You've really made her day, you know, because, I mean, the dress fitted great and everything. And it gave her curves that she didn't know she had. So, you know, we do sort of recommend certain ways of fitting dresses to give them that extra womanly shape.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
When I went to this is different, a different kind of category almost. I went to a drag kind of cabaret night, a pageant, a couple of years ago, and I'd said to this guy, oh my God, your figure's amazing, and he went, it's just padding in the right places, and he said and I said, oh, I need something like that for when I get married to make me look like I have
a bum,
more of an arse. And now I have more of an arse, but it's natural now. But at the time, and he said, "Oh, you just get it, and it's
like
you can
pants.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, you can just buy them off," and they were like specifically for drag queens,
Yeah.
which I'm guessing must also cater for trans people as well, for people who perhaps want, you know, a little bit more of a curve. Unlike with drag, it's more pronounced, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing, like I said, after 2004, when I met Lee, his stage name was Betty. He's absolutely mental. He owns a poodle parlour. And we just hit it off. And he's come up with all these designs. We had to do like little Bo Peep outfits and blah, blah, blah. So we'd have to make him boobs and everything else. But then the internet had only just really started, you know, coming to... I don't think you could shop online then. I don't know, 2004. So all the things I was trying to source was in America. There wasn't anything that you could get in the UK, so we had to make it. And, you know, that was a bit of a learning curve.
I bet.
Yeah. So his were padded pants and funny shaped boobs. And then we got the silicone ones that you could drop into bras, but he preferred the padded ones because he got a bit hot, bless him. But he would wear 7 pairs of Spanx.
7?
Yeah. I know.
I don't think I can breathe.
Well, yeah. Are you going to go for a wheelie? And he's like, I'll figure that out.
As an amusing side note story, when I got married, both my wife and I had Spanx to wear. Only I had this kind of frantic person come into the room when I was getting ready. I got my dress on, I got my makeup on, I'd had my hair done, and I was just kind of finishing touches. And they went, "Oh, Chip can't find a Spanx. Where's the Spanx? We can't find them anywhere." And it turns out I was wearing them. So we had to take them off from under my dress.
Did you ever pull right up to your boobs?
Yes. Yeah. So I had my purple bridesmaid went in the front under my dress, nice. And the yellow bridesmaid went in the back. No, nice. Not yellow, orange, went in the back under the dress. And I was like, wow, this is really quite special. Can we never, ever talk about this again, ever, please?
And now you're talking about it.
And now we're talking about it on the podcast.
I know.
But to be fair, there's a cracking photo of me just sort of kind of clutching my chest and then Gemma's bum going in forwards and Sarah going in from the back.
Sandwiched.
Yes.
Yeah. Some say they're still there.
And it was a special day. Yeah. Gemma said to me, just clarify, not you, Gemma, a different Gemma, had said to me, we're going to be better friends than we've ever been before because I'm going to have to help you go to the toilet on the day. And I
lift the dress.
That hadn't occurred to me.
No, well, this is it.
Gemma and I are very close now.
You are. Well, when I do fittings, you know, and some brides go, I want it really tight here and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, how are you going to go to the toilet? How are you going to sit down? Yeah. You know, have you got room to eat even? And they're like, I hadn't really thought about that. Well, how am I going to go to the toilet? I went, well, you have to front straddle the toilet. And they're like, you're still trying to work it out. And it's like, yeah. If not, just get some very good bridesmaids.
I literally couldn't fit anything else in my dress, so I ended up not eating on my wedding day. I had one mouthful of lasagna and I went, I physically cannot fit anything else in this dress.
Did you have a corset dress, did you? Oh, right.
And because I was bigger, despite having tried to lose weight for the wedding, I ultimately could not stop myself eating in the stress of the run-up.
You either go one way, you know, like when... I get some girls who've already bought the dress and they turn up and they start crying when I unzip the bag and I'm like, what's wrong? They're like, I can't actually get my arse into my dress. I'm like, oh, okay. So we have had to, or some women, you know, just lose so much weight or they've had a baby and then the shape changes. So, yeah, you have to be prepared for all scenarios, basically. But
and how do you feel about your business becoming rainbow assured?
I think it's brilliant because it's nice that it doesn't have to be a sort of a hush-hush thing anymore, you know, and especially when you take the phone call from that client and they're like, I hope you don't mind me asking. And they always seem to be really worried. And it's nice because if they're going through the website and they're going to see the badge, you know, to be accredited with Rainbow Assured, I think eventually as I start to get more of that clientele and they're coming from Google and seeing that shouldn't hopefully have that insecurity.
Yeah, make things a little bit easier for them to contact you.
Yeah.
Do you, I did hear somebody ask you outside and I wasn't listening to the answer because I was more concerned with drinking my tea because that's what I do. But somebody said outside about asking you about if you'd had to kind of sweep up the feelings that other bridal companies had left with their brides, in that when they were coming to you, did you have to kind of try and make them feel better than a previous person had?
I think the way that type of client, if they're in the shop and they feel uncomfortable, they wouldn't purchase.
Right.
So the people who've got their dresses have been happy with the service that they've received. And I think also they also do a little bit of research, or put it on forums, can you recommend anyone that would be open, for a man to go into a bridal shop to try on dresses, so there's certain shops would be in absolutely no way, which is silly really, because a customer's a customer, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, or I have had some people ring me first to ask which shops would I recommend. Other bridal shops, yeah.
And do you have ones that you push them towards?
Yeah. And if I do, then I always give them a heads up, or they give me a heads up code. They're very shy, but just thought to let you know these two ladies are actually bride and bride. So then we have to try and work out their appointments, so we have crossovers, so they don't see each other's dresses and things like that.
Yeah. So when Chip and I got married, I was wearing a dress and she made her own suit, as she is also a seamstress. So we did have that kind of more traditional, because Chip is more of a masculine person anyway. Are you finding that you're having, I don't know, maybe as many same-sex women both wearing dresses, or
they're both wearing dresses
as much as potentially
I
are
would say
suits?
Covered by last year's, I would say 95% of them are both wearing dresses now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Even the ones that you would think would be the stereotypical masculine version of their relationship.
Yeah.
They don't want the same taboo to be, because I'm like that, I should wear a suit. So it's nice that they can find, there's so much choices and styles now.
Yeah.
That actually, some of the ones that I thought, I'm really surprised you went for that dress, but they still felt girly in it.
Do you have a favourite style to...
I don't know, they're changing all the time.
Okay, or do you have would you find that somebody who had a potentially more masculine figure, so like maybe a sort of flatter bottom, or a flatter chest, which also encompass me, are there styles that suit that sort of figure better? Or is it just more dependent on the person and their shape?
I think it all depends on their personality as well.
Okay.
And what they would, pretty much when you go into a shop, you would exhaust all silhouettes. So you try ones with sleeves, straps, strapless,
right,
fitted, A-line, ball gown.
Right.
And you can just start to eliminate certain elements, so you then know what you're looking for your next dress to try.
Right.
But yeah, some of them have still had lace on and a bit of sequin.
Could you easily find a dress for yourself?
Me?
Yeah, when you got married. But because you've seen...
own.
Oh, I was going to say, because you've seen so many dresses.
Do you know what? Everyone thought, because I work in the industry, I'm going to have this really big, elaborate... No, hubby sold his motorbike. We got married on $2,500. Very low key. So everyone was expecting me to wear this amazing dress, and it was the most simplest dress. I mean, the fabric was expensive, but I love Vivienne Westwood. She's my idol of a designer. So mine was quite inspired by her with a silhouette. And it's in a landfill somewhere. I didn't even bother keeping it. It got trashed. Yeah, I didn't bother hooking it up. I just enjoyed wearing it.
To be fair, mine's a bit grimy now, but I haven't had it cleaned. It's a little bit ripped in places.
Yeah. Oh no, it was ripped. It had fag burns in it. It had all sorts. I wouldn't even want to know. So I took all the crystals off and the bust cups and the boning and stuck in the bin.
Have you seen the videos of this trend of women taking scissors to their
they're cutting their hems off, yeah.
And the hems off. What's your take on that?
Well, you don't want a wonky one, do you? No, it doesn't, because people think... I think because when you work with dresses all the time, I'm quite desensitised to them. As long as I make sure the work that I do is to a good standard. I don't know, like when I've had to take the scissors to the dress while the bride's wearing it, and they're like, oh my God, and I'm like, well, how do you think your dress gets altered? it needs scissors and pickers, and the whole thing comes apart. So when I have to stand there and trim up hems, you can see them stopping breathing. I'm like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry, because you make me nervous.
Now, have you seen that trend as well? There was quite a few around when I was getting my wedding dress sorted, because when we knew we wanted it rainbow, and at the time we weren't sure how we were going to accomplish that. But there was an awful lot of women sitting in a dress and then sitting in like a bath full of dye. Right. Or paint or of some description. Have you ever tried that one?
No. But I do know a lot of people do dip dyeing. Is that what they were trying to do?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. I've been asked to do it.
It sort of came out as like a marbled
Did it?
effect
or like a
almost.
tie-dye?
Yeah, except I think if I'd done that, all the colours would just merge and I'd end up like with my dream dress being brown. Yeah.
I know. No, it's quite a specific technique. I've been asked to do it, but I haven't got the time to learn it.
Fair enough.
And also, what happens if you balls it up?
Yes. So like my purple bridesmaid Gemma, she was the one that did my the alterations for my dress as my wedding present, and because it was a kind of off the rail, so I got it from the Big C.
Yeah.
Cancer,
I get quite a few from Big C.
Cancer charity, bridal boutique in Norwich, and so it was something that had come from a bridal shop as like one of their in-store dresses, and had been donated to them when it was kind of off-season. And it was awesome. But I'm 6 foot tall, and it was probably originally meant for someone who was probably going to have it taken up. So it wasn't really quite long enough.
Right.
But it was long enough for me.
A lot of them are made up for women who are like 5'10".
Yeah.
Because obviously when you get short asses like me, we have to take like a foot off.
Yeah.
But obviously when you're tall... Because I remember when I saw you at Michael's, I went, oh my God, I didn't realise you were that tall. Did you remember? Because the first time I saw you were sitting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't realise you were actually 6 foot. Yeah.
And we had a kind of Converse type plimp soles, but they were just white plimp soles, and then we had them decorated by an artist who I'm not going to give a shout out to, because unfortunately I was not pleased with the outcome, so I won't bother with that. But good. Yeah, I wasn't as pleased as it could be. I sent them back and had a bit more done, and still wasn't pleased. But she kind of did what we wanted to, and I'm still pleased that we had something done for us as opposed to just get something kind of generic. Yeah. And ultimately, no one is ever going to have a dress like mine. Again, I have thought about whether or not to kind of sell it so that somebody else gets to have that experience. I don't really want to let it go.
Well, I do preservation boxes.
Oh,
so if you need to store it.
I don't have a wife anymore, but I still have the wedding dress, and I still kind of like it.
Yeah, but you can do like that thing in Friends, can't you? Where they all sit on the sofa, their wedding dresses on.
That's true. Might do that.
Should be like, Jen, do you want to come out for...
I don't think I can actually fit in my dress anymore, but I can just sit with it on me.
Yeah, just drape it over you.
To finish off, could you please could you describe your business in 3 words? I'm going to start you off by using the word inclusive. Give me 2 more.
Oh, blimey, now you've put me on the spot.
Yes. What do you think?
Perfection.
Excellent.
I work to a high standard.
You are very much that person. So inclusive, perfection, and...
I think positive, because I'm always everyone's cheerleader.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's been lovely having you on. Thank you so much for coming in. No, it's your first podcast experience.
I know. How do I do?
It's up to you now. Yeah, no, you did good. Yeah, we chatted.
I know.
Conversation was nice.
It was nice
easy.
And flowing.
Excellent.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So thank you very much for joining us for episode 9 of Queerly Biz. We will see you next time.